it's Kirk McLean here, and you're watching Clay's Canucks Commentary.
Hey Canucks fans, and welcome to Clay's Canucks Commentary Live, presented to you by Van City Experts Real Estate. I'm your host, Clay, Emo Canuck Clay, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take, for Monday night, January the 20th. If you're new, here's what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. Hope you are doing well. Glad my show got off to a better start today than last night. I'm using the proper microphone. I'm still looking good. That goes without saying. And today was quite a busy day in terms of Canucks news. And I'm going to break it all down. I'm going to leave a lot of time for all of you. No rush tonight. There was no Canucks After Dark. So I actually, Parker was unavailable. We knew that. That's why we weren't going to do the show. We knew we weren't going to do the show. But then I fell asleep. So I forgot to tweet it out or put anything out there. So if there's anyone here that was looking for Canucks After Dark, my apologies. But hope you enjoyed your break. We are actually doing it tomorrow instead. So once again, we're doing it tomorrow at 10 p.m. Likely going to start at 10:15 p.m. admittedly by the time I get home from bowling. And then I will not do my own show tomorrow at 11. Instead, it'll just be Canucks After Dark. So I hope you're doing well. Nice to see you, Rev Trev. Hope you had a good show tonight. I would have tuned in if, again, I hadn't fallen asleep. No, my microphone is not facing backwards. Thank you for asking, Erwin. And really glad you're all here, especially after a big show last night. Surprisingly big show, really big show last night. Not sure what was in the water, what was in the cards. And it wasn't even a Canucks game day. The Canucks didn't make a trade. In fact, there's a lot more news today. So we'll see what happens as we get going. Moderators, do what you need to do to keep this a safe and respectful place. Members, that's Legends, Hall of Fame, and franchise members, thank you for your support. And to everyone else, no matter where you're watching from, whether my beautiful neighborhood of Steveston and Richmond, in the city, lower mainland, province, country, continent, or around the world, thank you for being here. You know that I know that you could be doing anything else, watching anyone else, getting ready for work, school, or bed, or all three. But the fact that you're here with me, you know how much I always appreciate you and how much I never, ever, ever take you for granted. So this is how you get involved tonight. You can subscribe to the channels. You get active in the chat section. Get notified of my videos every single day. I released 2 today as Canucks news continued to break. You can like the video. You can like the fact that we're together. You can like the fact that Connor Garland is our new MVP. I think he's overtaking Quinn Hughes in the MVP race, given that he basically got Connor McDavid a 3-game suspension. We'll talk about that. Like the fact that the Canucks have not traded JT Miller nor made any other trades. Like the fact that JT Miller was miraculously okay today from his food poisoning, a full participant at practice after missing Dyson Ice last night. And like the fact that we continue to build a very strong Canucks community here on YouTube. You can leave a donation, get the donation train out of the station. You can gift a membership. You can buy your own membership, upgrade your own membership, use your monthly membership message. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, make sure you rate and review. So people are sharing where they're coming from tonight, from all around the world, all around the lower mainland. Some of you are doing housekeeping, some of you just lying on your bed, some of you just doing whatever, which is wonderful. And Swervin Irvin says he's going to roll in some Connor Garland jiu-jitsu. Yes, the technique is impeccable. You could see if it works on the best player in the entire planet, then it's going to work on anyone else basically. And look what it does. Look at the merits. I can just picture like a 1-800 infomercial right now. All for 3 easy payments of $29.99. You will learn the wonderful technique of pinning down the best player in the league and getting him so mad that all he can do in retaliation is cross-check you across your face. Yes, that's exactly what happened. And I will get to that in a second. Let's give some love to Adam Lee, who gets the donation train out of the station by gifting a membership, the first membership of the night. So let's give some love to Adam. Thank you, Adam, for the $5 donation. It equates to a free franchise membership for a month for Clay Emo's Evil Twin. Clay Emo's Evil Twin, welcome back to franchise membership. And thank you, Adam, for the donation. But we ain't done. Oh, I love it when I can say that kind of stuff. We ain't done. Shout out to Coach Rob, who gives a $5 donation in terms of a franchise membership. And I welcome yet another good-looking, passionate, positive Canucks content creator. Rev Trev was gifted a membership by Coach Rob. Not sure if, Trev, you have a chance to partake in all of the membership goodies, given how busy you are coaching and creating content and just overall being a good guy. But welcome to membership, Kempner Canucks. And let's give some love to Coach Rob in the chat. So thank you, Coach Rob. And thank you, Adam Lee, for getting the donation train out of the station. Choo-choo, there goes. And thank you for your generosity. And welcome to membership, Kempner Canucks, and to Clay Emo's evil twin. So really quickly tonight, the reason why I was so tired, and I think, wasn't it last night's stream? Refresh me, guys. Was it on last night's stream? Was I bragging how I basically didn't do anything on the Sunday because I had a busy Saturday, but because I'm not studying, because I don't have any huge work events on the horizon, basically not stressed about anything right now. Did I mention on last night's stream that all I did was watch both football games and wave in and out of sleep yesterday, which is very rare for me. It's not rare that I actually doze off. I actually do that quite often and quite well. I'm quite proficient at it, actually. But it felt really, really good yesterday. I did talk about that yesterday. Okay, that's good. And then continued today. Not so much the laziness. Oh, maybe. So did a full day at work. Got home. Gail, my wife, lovely wife, had to work tonight, and Jacob was out celebrating anniversary with his lovely girlfriend Michelle. So it was me, Kayla, Sean, and Sean's girlfriend Cheska. And we went to all-you-can-eat sushi. We have not done that in a while. We went to a place called Richmond Nankazu, it's the old school Nankazu. They merged with the old school Richmond Sushi a few years ago, and now it's one of the only places that offer all-you-can-eat in Richmond. With any all-you-can-eat sushi place, I think it's typical, and tell me if this resonates with you. You go in, you're so excited. Everything on the menu looks good. You order almost everything. It comes in front of you and it looks great. And then about 20 minutes later, after stuffing your face and barely having time to breathe, you kind of look at each other and you say, was this worth it? Should we have done this? I'm having serious doubts right now. Anyways, we knew that it's funny. We know in our emo family that that's going to happen, yet we still enter into it voluntarily. And it was still good. It was good past the 20 minutes. For all you can eat, because all you can eat, sometimes the quality isn't great. It's okay. It's not amazing. It's not brutal. But once in a while, we do want to stuff ourselves. Then I came home, hung out with Cheska and Sean for a bit, and then basically ran upstairs and fell asleep. So I slept. I knew that I didn't have my show, so I basically slept from 9:30 until 10:45. So I just got up 15 minutes ago. I don't know if it looks like it. I tried to redo my eyebrows and my hair, but yeah, it felt good. It felt good. And now I am here with all of you. And yeah, Ryan says Richmond Sushi has gone completely downhill. Well, if we're talking about the same place, I actually think it's had a bit of a mini resurgence, because I remember 5 years ago when it was really bad. So if you think it's even worse now, I can't imagine what you thought it was like before. Irving has got to be in the mood for all you can eat. I agree. And Somi Show says that's how I used to feel about Uncle Willie's. Yeah, Uncle Willie. What a weird name, but yes, that was a famous buffet place. Okay, enough about my eating habits. Let's get to the Vancouver Canucks, because they gave us enough to chew on today. You like what I did there? So it started off in the morning where, I don't know about you, but I got up and the first thing I did, it's probably a bad habit, but I went to my phone to see if I missed any JT Miller news, to see if I had to run down to my home office before I was getting ready for work and record a quick vlog about a JT Miller trade. And no, did not have to do that. Trev says, I'm always in the mood for all you can eat buffets. All right, next time I'm over there, next time you're over here, we will go on a date for sure. All you can eat date. So no JT Miller trade. That's fine. Got ready for work, went to work. Then I saw that the Canucks had called up Mark Friedman. I said, okay, that makes sense. That means they're anticipating on a Tyler Myers suspension. That means they're whether Noah Juleson is ready to go or not. Now you have some insurance on the right side. And then I saw that Patrik Allvin, they announced that Patrik Allvin would be doing a mid-season media availability at 11:45. So I made sure that I was back at my desk at work at 11:45 just in case he said anything. I didn't think it didn't feel like he was there to announce a trade of whether it's Miller or someone else, because if that happened, as good as this brass is at keeping things on the down low, I just think we would have heard about that before, as opposed to Patrik Allvin breaking it or talking about it himself. And sure enough, that was the case. In fact, if you watch my vlog, I kind of mentioned this. I know some other vloggers mentioned this as well. There wasn't a lot. There wasn't a lot of news, a substance in what Patrik Allvin had to say. Now, that doesn't mean it wasn't worth doing, because I know a lot of people were clamoring for something like this, and maybe this was the right time to do it while the team is at home with a 2-day gap between games, Saturday to Tuesday, as opposed to a one-day gap. So regardless, on a Monday, felt like a good time to do this, I guess. And I won't recap everything that Patrik Allvin talked about, because I want to talk about the suspensions and the JT Miller stuff still. But what he did have to say was interesting, even though he didn't say a lot. And he touched on a lot of things. Of course, a lot of questions, especially the early questions, swirled around JT Miller and all the events from the weekend, which we learned more about today. And to his credit, and Patrik Allvin is pretty good about this, about protecting his players, or at least, I was just going to say he's good about not saying anything bad about his players, yet he's out there. He always seems to be publicly challenging Elias Pettersson every chance he gets, including today, which I'll get to in a second. But he basically started off by saying he's not going to comment on any specific players, any specific, negotiations or trades. The fact that his job is to always look at how he can improve the team. So that basically a big nothing burger there, admitting that he should always be looking at ways to improve the team, look at deals, but he wasn't going to offer anything about a JT Miller situation. So that's fair. Pat really pressured him about the Canucks' poor record at home, the Canucks not playing an entertaining brand of hockey. Actually, that's what I'm going to do. Because this poll question isn't really gleaning me anything. 86% of you are saying that if 3 games is about right for Tyler Myers, and I'll get back to this. 13% of you are saying it was too harsh, and no one, a big fat 0%, said no one thought that it was too light. So no one thought it should have got more than 3 games. Only a couple of you thought it should got that less than 3 games. So 86% of you saying about right. Remember, I predicted 2 games, so 3 games isn't that far off, but I'll get to that in a second. But I do want to ask you this one poll question. What would you rather watch as a Canucks fan? So I've asked this before. What would you rather watch as a Canucks fan? A boring, low-scoring win, an exciting, high-scoring loss? A very simple poll question. Would you rather watch a low-scoring, boring win or an exciting, high-scoring loss? Now, I say this because I've often wondered this for myself, and I've asked this actually on this channel before, never part of a poll question. And I think we have to use the caveat of a regular season game, because of course, during the playoffs, we want to see them win and advance through the playoffs. But let's say, as much as you can, try and strip out. I'm not going to tell you what I was going to say. Try and strip out the obvious fact of if you win, you have a better chance of making the playoffs. But I can't ask you to strip that out, because otherwise, why are they playing? They're not playing for fun. So I get that there's always going to be ramifications. But let's just say this is at least we'll put the caveat, this is a regular season game and not a playoff game. Because I think a playoff game, well, if you're a real Canucks fan, you should say 100% of you should say a win. And I ask this because, I've seen a couple 6-5 doozies or 7-6 doozies or 5-4 doozies, which are very entertaining. But maybe the Canucks lose in a shootout or in overtime versus a 3-1 win or a 2-1 win. Like I think a shutout's always nice because you're happy for the goalie. But let's say a relatively low event, low scoring 2-1 win. We haven't had a lot of those admittedly, but sometimes that's how you have to win as well. So I'm asking you, which one would you rather watch? And already 85% of you saying always a Canucks win, no matter how low, how boring or how low scoring it is. And I bring that up because Patrik Allvin brought that up too when J-Pat was saying, what about the fans at home? Do you have a responsibility to play entertaining hockey? And Patrik Allvin, to his credit, was really quick, and he just said, look, I think Canucks fans would rather see a low scoring win than back and forth loss, and entertaining loss. And I agree with that for sure, but it was just really, really interesting that it came out in that way. And yes, most of you are saying a win is a win. I'll take it no matter what. And that is totally fair. 2 questions about Brock Besser, and both were answered in the nothing imminent. Takes 2 sides to tango. And every time they talk about Brock Besser, the more and more I'm convinced that he will not be a Vancouver Canucks next year, because Besser will probably want maximum term, 8 years or not 7 years. He'll probably want maximum money. It's his last. Remember, he's done 3 contracts of 3 years each. He's going to want to hit a home run for his last one, but I'm not convinced that his play and his speed is going to dictate that much money. So as much as I like Brock Besser as a person, as a player, he's a good player, but he's not a great player, and therefore I don't think you should sign him long term to too much money. Just my opinion. And then he was asked overall about the disappointment of the first half of the season. Patrik Allvin, and I tried to express this in my vlog today. He didn't make excuses for all, using the injuries as an excuse or whatever, but he also wasn't shy about pointing them out. So he would never use the word excuse. Of course he wouldn't. And he still says that he thinks the players, the core, the depth, when everyone's playing well and consistently, that they are a playoff team, which I agree, but we haven't seen that yet. And we didn't see that obviously when 1, 2, 3 guys were out of the lineup, and we haven't even seen it when everyone's been back, well, except for minus Dakota Joshua. We've seen 2 really good games, Toronto and Edmonton. We've seen 2 really bad games, Winnipeg and LA. So we're chill, and I get it; those are against 4 really good teams. So we're still trying to see what type of team this is when everyone's back, and maybe tomorrow we get a better indication when they have a full roster, except for Joshua, I guess, and Juleson, and now Myers. So yeah, as I keep adding to the list of the walking wounded or the suspended. It's not a full team, but we have all of our best players available for us to play against the non-playoff Buffalo Sabres tomorrow. 2 other things I want to mention. He did say that he was proud of Petey and Miller, how they've kind of fought through all the adversity, fought through all the noise. And he says that sometimes it's unfair to see what's being speculated upon in the media, and that's fair. And then the one thing he did say interesting about Elias Pettersson, and I can't remember if he said it in response to JT Miller's absence, but he referenced JT Miller as being the number 1 C. Then he mentioned Petey as growing into a star, which kind of ironic considering that means they admittedly assigned a non-star to the 5th highest contract in the league. And I'm being a little bit sarcastic there, but for some reason, it's like, I don't know if it's a Swedish thing or if it's like Patrik Allvin speaks as if he's Pettersson's father, like kind of in that fatherly tone, like you can do better. We expect more, kind of like the way Tocchet talks about JT Miller in the fatherly tone. So maybe Tocchet is Miller's pseudo father on the team, and maybe Patrik Allvin acts as the father figure for Elias Pettersson. Regardless, they don't. I heard some people say that they treat Pettersson with kid gloves. I don't know. I think they're pretty. I don't know if it's the opposite, but I think they're pretty direct with their thoughts about Elias Pettersson in the media. So we'll see. He's played pretty well defensively. It hasn't necessarily add up to points, but much like the whole team, he was very good against Toronto. Remember, we talked about a lot of his great plays, and even Saturday against Edmonton, he was held off the score sheet, yet he made some pretty good plays, and especially on the defensive end, he was selling out, diving, losing a stick, getting a new stick, riskily, and getting back to the ice surface, and made some pretty good plays. So I know then you'll say, well, the bar's got to be higher for him, and I agree with that, but overall, I just want to see him play well. I want to see Miller play well. I want to see Besser play well. I want to see Hronek play well. I want to see Hugh play well. I want to see Dimko play well. I want to see everyone play well. And this is a great question about Swervin Irvin says, do you parent your 3 kids the exact same way? No. No, that's a great point. No, I don't. Some player needs need kids' gloves. Yeah, and I know you're talking about the players and not because I referenced that, not because talking about my kids. But yeah, I won't say who's who, but you guys can probably figure out. I certainly depending on their charisms, their thought. I mean, their talents and their maturity. I have certainly have different expectations for Sean, Jacob, and Caleb. And and again, it depends on their talent, their maturity, their headspace, what they're good at, and what basically we're talking about here. So you're right. I do not. Overall, my methods and my bottom line should be consistent between the three, but I certainly tweak the way that I parent depending on who it is and what the situation is. Really, really good question about that. Okay, so that was Patrik Allvin's availability. Before we get to JT Miller, before we get to Tyler Myers' suspension, let's go 2 or 3 minutes. Your feedback. For those of you that watched or listened to Patrik Allvin either live or on replay, what were your thoughts about what Patrik Allvin had to say? Put it in the comments. I'll highlight a couple things. What did you think of what Patrik Allvin had to say? Swervin Irvin says, you don't treat everyone the same as long as you treat everyone fair. That is true. And you just look, your expectations for the $11.6 million player should be different than a fourth liner who makes $900,000. Hey, Kyle, my fellow Japanese brother. Allvin said a lot, but said very little at the same time. He's good at that. He is good at that. Patrik Allvin did not say much, in my opinion. Every time I say emo, I think you're saying my last name, but in my opinion, he was very vague. Yeah, he didn't, nothing specific today. Very lackluster, not lackluster. Not lackluster, it's lackluster. Very lackluster presser to say the least. Win no matter what. PD needs to improve or move out. Wow, that's harsh. Definitely careful on how he answered. Could only watch a few minutes. All good. You should watch the whole thing, fangirl. Only valuable piece of info to me is his willingness to keep talking long term. That's true. I did not bring that up so many shows. He did mention that, that not worried about talking. Don't trade Miller. Trading Miller means no playoffs and you're losing the best player in the trade. Disappointed on his response to the defense, saying they have the ability to defend, but the defense hasn't been very good. Yeah, Alfred, I will say that a lot of their recent woes, their defense, except for a couple games, was okay for a lot of those games where they're losing and getting shut out. And it was their offense that was the problem. But I hear what you're saying, that overall the defense has just been Allvin didn't say much. Do you think they're trying to flip Brock as a rental now or play him to the end of the year and hope Brock doesn't get 8 and let him walk? No, I think, well, James, as I technically they still have a lot of time given that the 2-week break for the Four Nations faceoffs. So I do think they're willing to trade him before the trade deadline. Yes, if it was Lindgren, Hedel, and a conditional first, I'm glad I didn't go through. I'll get to that in a second. Trading Miller would be a big mistake. Your video breaking it down helped me to know how it went. Great. Well, if I save you some time, then I've done my job. Thank you, fangirl. Okay, let's move on to JT Miller, and then we'll end off with Tyler Myers, and then I'll go to all of you. JT Miller, I spent a lot of last night's show. Maybe that's why it was so big. I spent a lot of last night's show talking about the kind of the timeline of what we believe to be true with JT Miller, and it was further confirmed today. Both by Elliot Friedman and by Rick Dhaliwal. So we know the story that a lot of trade talk on Friday, close to a deal with the Rangers on Saturday, and so much so where they told JT Miller that he might not play on Saturday night. Deal fell through. He plays Saturday night. He's one of the 3 best Canucks players on the ice. Then not a lot of talk yesterday, at least it was quiet, Dyson ice, but JT Miller wasn't there. And then JT Miller was at practice today. So, it's tough to say which way this is going to go. I've always stated that I do not want them to trade Miller or Pettersson. I would hope that they're big boys, they can make it work, and they recognize that the team is better with them than without them. And we saw that last year, and we can chalk a lot of this year's failure up to inconsistency and to not having everyone in the lineup. And then Miller was gone for basically the month of November and half of December. So he missed, or at least half and half. So he missed 10 games or so. Not blaming him, just saying that's a big factor too, why we are where we are. But I guess the biggest news that came out of it today was a few things that JT Miller and JT Miller's agent have said they have not asked the Canucks for a trade, that the Canucks did approach them about waiving the no trade. So can you go back from that, knowing that they at least tried to move you once? Maybe. I don't know. I can't say no for sure. Apparently, the rumor is that it was Hedel, Lindgren, and a conditional first. And to me, that's not nearly enough for Miller. So unless those conditions are amazing, like guaranteed top 10 or top 5, I don't know how you guarantee that if you don't even finish there. That's the rumor, is that the deal broke down because they couldn't agree on these conditions. And like I said, with Hedel and Lindgren, if those are the ones coming back, not Lafreniere, not Braden Schneider, then those conditions, I hope the Canucks were really, really pushing for some really good conditions. Other news came out that maybe it's Dallas in the mix, maybe it's New Jersey, maybe it's the Carolina Hurricanes. Also that came out was that PD has told the Canucks he wants to stay, he doesn't want to be moved. And there was a comment from either Dhaliwal or Friedman. Remember, Dhaliwal is the one I trust the most locally. Friedman's the one I trust the most nationally. Yes, they talk a lot of rumors and stuff, but these two guys are very, very well connected. They rarely get it wrong. And one of them, I think it was Dhaliwal, that said that 6 weeks ago, the Canucks decided that they'd have to change things up in the locker room and that they would look at moving either PD or Miller. And then they started to quietly test the market for both players. So whether that's indeed the case or not, it kind of makes sense. It lines up with the timeline of Miller taking his leave of absence starting November 18th. All to say, we don't know. The jury's out on what's going to happen with JT Miller. I know, Trev, I didn't get to see a stream, but I saw the title, Trev, of your stream where you said why trading Miller would be a mistake. I agree. You're going to lose that trade, at least on paper, because you're losing the best player. But if it does make a big difference in terms of chemistry, in terms of performance, I don't know how you can gauge that nor predict that, then maybe it is indeed worth exploring. And then really quickly, before I get to Tyler Myers, the Canucks practice day, their forward lines were the same as they did against Edmonton. So it was Miller with Garland and Suter. It was PD between DeBrusk and Besser. Your third line of Heinen and Sherwood flanking Bluger. And the fourth line of Sasson with PDG and Hoglander. No extra forwards because Joshua was hurt and Lekkerimäki was sent down to Abbotsford. Then on D, Mark Friedman was called up, as I mentioned. So it was Hughes with Friedman. Then it was Susie Hronek. And then it was Forbert and Desharnais. And Myers was skating as a seventh defenseman. It was kind of weird. He was skating as a seventh, so they basically were admitting they're expecting a suspension. Yet it was Tyler Myers that they trotted out in front of the media today to speak about, and maybe it was because the media requested him, because the media does have a hand in who they get to speak to. Sometimes they get the player they want, and other times they didn't. So again, no Juleson at practice, so that's why you have Mark Friedman there, because Myers officially then, it was after named 3-game suspension, and if Julesen's not ready to go, then Friedman draws in the lineup. It just matters, do you play Friedman with Hughes and split Hughes and Hronek up and then play Hronek with Susie? That's how they practice. Or do you go back to Hughes, Hronek, and then play Susie Friedman? And I'm fine with Susie Friedman, given that I want Friedman playing more minutes than Desharnais, which is weird to say, considering Desharnais is the NHL regular and Friedman is basically the AHL journeyman. So we will see how the Canucks line up against the Sharks tomorrow. Sorry, against the Buffalo Sabres tomorrow. I would play Kevin Lankinen tomorrow. He hasn't played in a while. And then I would play Thatcher Demko again on Thursday in the much anticipated rematch against the Edmonton Oilers. And finally, before I get to the Mitchell sponsor read and get to all of you, twin suspensions for Connor McDavid and for Tyler Myers. And you only have to go on X for about 30 seconds to watch Edmonton Oilers fans lose their you-know-what. They're upset that McDavid got the same as Myers. Why didn't Myers get more? Why did McDavid get anything, considering he was mauled and whatever? And to that I say, good for Connor Garland, because he knew exactly the situation. If the refs called a delayed penalty on him for roughing or for obstruction or holding or hooking or basically or tackling, then technically Canucks still have to touch the puck before they gets called. So if you know there's only 15 to 20 seconds left and you know that your team is defending and kind of batten down the hatches, you can take a penalty like that because it might not even get called in the end. So, and I freely admitted in my video today that Connor Garland should have been called for a penalty of some sort. But then would it actually get called because there's only 15 seconds left? Then, of course, Connor McDavid isn't happy. Best player in the game doesn't mean he doesn't have emotions. Could have punched Garland, could have tackled him back, but instead he gave him a cross check across the face, and therefore he received 3 games. NHL player, Department of Player Safety cited that it was an aggressive move. It was an intentional move directly to the face, not aiming for any other part of his body. McDavid has been suspended once, been fined once in his 600-game career. So 3 games for Connor McDavid. The big ramification there is that he's not going to play against Washington tomorrow in their Ovechkin versus McDavid. Now it's got to be Ovechkin versus Draisaitl. And then this is why I call Connor Garland the MVP. He's basically has taken Connor McDavid out of the rematch on Thursday night. And it's not such an important game for the Edmonton Oilers. It's important for the Canucks. Measuring stick game, and the Canucks are the ones fighting for their playoff lives. So good job, Connor Garland. Some Connor on Connor crime there. Then, of course, when it comes to Tyler Myers, 3 games for him. He's been suspended twice in his 1,000-game career. He's been fined twice in his 1,000-game career in citing the reasons. They said that although they believe or that Tyler Myers did not mean to hit Bouchard in the face, it was the primary point of contact. It wasn't the chest or the arm or the shoulder. It was straight to the face. And that indeed constitutes a match penalty for cross-checking. So 3 games for Myers. Myers, in his media availability, seemed to anticipate that he was going to get suspension of some sort. And he said, he claimed that he didn't, I don't think he said he used the word, he apologized to Bouchard, but he said he would never try and hit someone in the face, even though I think, he wouldn't never try and hit someone in the face. And he never has. And he said he talked to Bouchard about it when they were standing at the red line. Again, he didn't go as far as saying, I don't think he went as far as saying he apologized to him, but he did say that he told Bouchard that he wouldn't do that intentionally. But doesn't matter if it's intentional or not. Doesn't matter if you've never done it before or not. It doesn't matter if you're a nice guy or not. Both guys got 3 games. And I think Canucks fans, you'd agree with me that, it doesn't help our defense of death, but I think all things being equal, this is going to hurt Edmonton more than it hurts the Vancouver Canucks. And I'm not going to sit there and say, I'll say that I thought both suspensions were going to be 2 games. I did not think they'd be equal because they had to be equal and they happened at the same time at the game. No, I thought they were both equal, going to be equal because they're both equally egregious in nature. So we were right. They both got the same number of games, but it was 1 more game than I thought it would be for each of them. So there we go. 3 games for both Tyler Myers and Connor McDavid. Okay. I'm going to run the mid-show sponsor read, and then I will do a couple of mid-show announcements, and then I'll get to all of your questions. But just a heads up, I'm going to do an admission right now. I have to use the washroom very quickly. So as soon as the mid-show sponsor read ends, I probably won't be back because there's no way I'm going to get there and back in 17 seconds or whatever it is. So you may have to wait another 20 seconds or so after the mid-show sponsor read. So just admire the graphic that I have up as soon as the mid-show sponsor read is done. Okay? So that means I'll be back in about 45 seconds to a minute after I'm done talking. We start off by thanking Jason Lim of Van City Experts. Thank you to my channel sponsor, Jason Lim of Van City Experts Real Estate. At Van City Experts, their experience, knowledge, and expertise can serve you well in navigating through the real estate market and will help you to choose the best home or condo in the greater Vancouver area that best suits your and your family's needs. Okay, I messed it up. I was supposed to have this graphic up for you to look at while I was in the restroom. So sorry for that. And I must be getting old. Either I'm getting old and my bladder control isn't great. Is that too much info? Or I was just very excited to do my show tonight. So yes, that was my thank you to Jason Lim of Van City Experts Real Estate. And I think I saw Jason in the chat for sure. Shout out to my secondary sponsor, Coach Patrik Allvin, weight loss coach. Check him out at coachpatrickallvin.com/clay. Receive a free 5-day workout when you sign up. Thank you to Gassy Jai Art, maker of that fine artwork. And thank you to Vessi Footwear. Use the link tinyurl.com/VessiClay and receive a free pair of socks off your next purchase of Vessi shoes. I'm out of breath. My washroom is just outside the door. Yet I'm still out of breath after running to get back here as soon as I could. If you want to support me buying some Canuck Clay merch, you may do so at canuckclay.threadless.com. Check it out. Shirts, pins, buttons, stickers, mugs, hoodies, whatever you want, it is there. And thanks to everyone who has supported me already. Mitchell, reminder to you that you can subscribe. My shows this week are tomorrow night is Canucks After Dark at 10, probably 10:15, like I said, by the time I get back from bowling, but 10 o'clock. And then I don't do CCC tomorrow because I have my prayer hour at midnight. So not worth doing a half an hour show by the time Canucks After Dark is done. So Canucks After Dark at 10 tomorrow, then my own show Wednesday night and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Wednesday night will be a regular show. Thursday night will turn out to be a post-game live stream after the Canucks play against those Edmonton Oilers. Before I get to your questions, I just want to quickly go through the scores around the league. It's Martin Luther King Day in the States. Also the day that Donald Trump officially took over. Not going to talk about that. Want to stay in a good mood. We have Boston over San Jose. We have Minnesota taking care of Colorado Avalanche, a battle of Central Division powers. We have the Kraken win, being the Sabres that we play tomorrow. We have Vegas losing, which at this point we kind of want them to win because we're not going to catch Vegas, and St. Louis get the 2 points. I'll show you what that means in the standings. Toronto beats Tampa. That's a budding rivalry. We have the Islanders beating Columbus. The Hurricanes over the Blue Jackets. The Jets lose again to Utah, and Pittsburgh takes out the Kings. That's kind of nice for the Canucks. Slim chances of catching Vegas. So then you add it all together. Sorry, for catching LA. And really, all we care about is what's happening around us. Calgary was idle, so are we. So we're still 1 point behind. St. Louis is now caught up and tied us once again, but they have 3 games in hand. So you can see it's important that the Canucks win tomorrow so they can leapfrog Calgary. And that's only if Calgary doesn't win. And tomorrow I'm just checking who Calgary plays. It looks like tomorrow Calgary plays. Dun, 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 dun. No one. Calgary doesn't play. So we have a chance to leapfrog Calgary in the standings tomorrow. Okay. Now, oh, did everything die? Are we okay? Are we alive? Let's see. What do we got here? I see Mike died. Where did Clay go? Screen died for a bit. Uh-oh. Everything is plugged in and charged. Hopefully we're still okay. Camera is charging. Shannon put in an order for another t-shirt. Thank you, Shannon. That's awesome. Which one did you buy, Shannon? That is great. Everyone's asking me if everything's plugged in. Was that when I was coming out of one of the graphics? Anyway, we are good. Okay. Let me go. Audio sync is slightly off. Okay, that's not good either. But too late to change it. Welcome everyone. Let's keep going. I will do questions now from this point. Clay. Oh, by the way, I still have a couple pairs of tickets for tomorrow night's game to the Buffalo Sabres. Email me canuckclay@gmail.com if you're interested. Again, canuckclay@gmail.com. I will set you up with a very, very good deal for tomorrow night's game. Clay, if Miller's traded, will you lose faith in the Canucks management? No, not necessarily. Depends on what we get back. of course, as long as it's not just a dump to get rid of him, which I don't think they're going to do anyways. Yeah, I did see when I went, did I go dark when I was talking? Because I didn't notice that I went dark once when I was trying to transition between screens. But if it was when I was talking, I apologize. Miller did so well locking down McDavid. Draisaitl got lucky, didn't get punched in the face. Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, Miller did very well. He had played a great game on Saturday. Hard to be worse than Benning. Yes, it is. And Viper, it went dark and no sound. Oh gosh. What was I talking about when that happened? How do you feel management has handled this whole situation? This management is not without its flaws. I think they're really good at some of the contracts and trades they do. They're not always great at controlling the narrative. Either too much gets out, not enough gets out. They don't address things quickly. They address things too quickly. They say too much. They don't say enough. It's hard to find the perfect balance. Right now, if there's no trade and Miller and Petey end up both playing well, yes, this will be considered a relatively major blip, but only a blip in the evolution of this team. If we miss the playoffs, and then I would venture that the management did not handle this situation well. What's more grueling, the NFL 1 game per round in the playoffs, or the NHL's 4 to 7 games per round? They say that the Stanley Cup is the hardest trophy to win. I've never heard them say the Vince Lombardi Trophy is the hardest trophy to win. So I'll say that it's the grueling playoffs in the NHL, having to win 4 rounds of 4 games, 4 wins at least, could be up to 28 games. But I'm not at all taking anything away from the level of athlete, caliber of athlete, and how much they pay and they go through in the NFL. I think the Canucks win both games, Simon. I think they beat Buffalo easily, and I think they squeak out a win against Edmonton. Is it time for a players-only meeting? I don't know. Maybe they've had one, but you think we may have heard of it. Rick Tocchet often says he sometimes doesn't go into the room after games, so maybe that's part of the players. Maybe that's a player-only meeting. McDavid is dirty. Well, he got a 3-game suspension. Oh, I was talking about the schedule of shows when it happened. Yeah, no, that would make sense because I was trying to get I pressed the wrong button, but if I was talking when that happened, I apologize, but I think we're back on track. Right after you scrolled the sponsorship screens, it was when you're talking about your schedule for tomorrow's streams. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you, everyone. McDavid lucky to only get 3 games since his second suspension for cross-checking. Yeah. But 3 games is a lot when you think about it in terms of an 82-game schedule. That's quite a bit. T-shirt I'm getting is a red one, but it's the black round logo. Oh, it's probably the GLCPC logo then if it's the black round logo. Thank you, Shannon. That's awesome. So many generational players that will still never get to win the cup. It's very difficult. It is indeed. If McDavid is so good, then why does he have to push the edge of clean play? I think Irwin, and I like McDavid. I do. I'll admit, I think he's great, and I'm going to cheer like heck for him in the 4 nations. But I think he's always a target every single night because of how good he is. So I don't blame him for getting frustrated. I don't think it means a cross check to the face, but I'm sure every player gets frustrated in one way, shape, or form. Winning the Super Bowl is crazy tough because losing one guy could potentially sabotage everything. Yeah, no, that's fair. I want to fight McDavid. Good luck, Jaskrin. I see the skill level drops off in the NFL. That's fair. Oh, great. I did not know this, but I will look this up. That's great. I presume that wasn't on Raw, or was it? Joe Henry won the TNA championship. Very good. Did they have a big card over the weekend? I think it's funny how Connor Garland is a hero here and major enemy at Edmonton. Yes, I've seen many tweets that say, oh, Garland better keep his head up, or Garland's a dead man on Thursday. Whatever. At what point did you realize the Stanley Cup Finals was more than 1 game? I think ever since I watched hockey, to be honest with you. I learned quickly it's someone in my personal life on my stepdad's side. Family. Okay, that's fair. Oh, Victor, where did you meet Demko? Were you at practice today? Tell us about it. That's awesome. Congratulations. Happy for you. DJ Bick, what's taking you so long, man? Come anytime. No one bums on Oilers can afford a suspension. I'm not sure what that means, Jason. I'm sorry I haven't been able to tune in as much. I'm on the East Coast, so it's like 3 a.m. Okay, so I get it. It's coming up to 3 a.m. here. I am so grateful for you. D'Lo, where are you coming from tonight? Where do you live? Are you studying or are you working there? Tell me your life story. Thank you, D'Lo, for being here. If you're an Oilers fan, you have to understand it's Garland's job to disrupt star players, and he succeeded. No, that's true. And, I would love to think that we, as very mature and intelligent Canucks fans, that if someone was doing that to Petey, Miller, or Hughes, would we understand that that's part of the game? Would we give enough credit to, let's say Zach Hyman was tackling Quinn Hughes for the last 15 seconds. Would we be mature enough and rational enough to say, okay, that was a smart play by Hyman because they probably weren't going to get the call because they'd have to touch the puck, And then I'd like to think we were mature enough to realize that and also be mature enough to realize that that does not warrant a cross check to the face. Oilers fans wanting Garland, but their team is full of chickens. Well, we'll see. Okay, it was Genesis. Thank you, Dan. Garland is annoying, yeah. There's a time that the road to Stanley Cup was not always 7-game series. Right. The finals has always been 7 games, but weren't some series best of 5s? This wasn't Zadorov doing it. Oh, I see what you're saying, complaining again about Garland. Garland just took a penalty realistically and objectively, but he didn't do anything really dirty. Yeah, no, I agree, Edmund. That's a really good point. It was holding for sure. It was interference for sure. But it's not like they were going to suspend Garland for what he was doing. I didn't learn offside and icing till my 20s. You know what's really funny, Irvin? Once in a while, I will bring someone who's never been to a Canucks game before as a guest, or someone who just simply doesn't understand the rules. And I explain offside and icing to them right away because I said this is like more than 50% of the stoppages, aside from the goalie covering or the puck going on to play. So I always teach whoever I'm watching the game with about offsides and icings, just basic, just so they can understand why the play seems to be arbitrarily being stopped all the time. And I also like to point out the TV timeouts, how they happen in the first whistle. That's not a goal or an offside after the 6, 10, and 14-minute marks, and how there's a little light in the penalty box to indicate to the officials that they are still on commercial break. It makes me feel so smart when I'm able to explain. By the way, did everyone understand, or does everyone know what I just talked about the TV timeouts and the placement of them? Do you think Garland will have to fight an Oilers player? No, I don't. No, it's if anything, Garland, McDavid and Myers, when they come back to line, they should have to fight someone because they were the ones who created, who committed the actual suspendable crime. And even Tanner Jeannot didn't get suspended, but he was the one who hurt Besser. Therefore, he had to answer the bell against Desharnais, even though it wasn't really much of a fight. So in this case, it's not Garland that will have to answer the Oilers. It's McDavid that should have to answer the Canucks, if you ask me. Shannon says, Coach Rob, can you let me know later about the suspension of McDavid and Myers? Hey, Shannon, Coach Rob can do that, but I also did a whole 10-minute video on it from this afternoon explaining both situations if you want to watch it. Losing Myers isn't so bad for Canucks, but won't be the same when McDavid is not playing for the Oilers. Exactly. It hurts them more. Do you think we need a Corey Perry type guy to straighten out the room and just keep Miller? No, I don't. I don't think we need a Corey Perry type guy. You have different leaders in different ways, but I hear what you're saying. What? Quinn Hughes is dating Sabrina Carpenter? I don't know. I don't know this. Is this true? And where was this reported? Wow. Canucks shouldn't trade Peter Miller. They're going to lose either trade. That's fair. Suspending them 3 games stops any BS from happening. I think it's just fluke that they happen to be playing each other once again. Like I don't think they made it long enough just so they can't play each other. Can't be the lineup on Thursday, because if they did that, they could have done 2 games, right? You're in Toronto, moved out here 10 years ago. It's currently minus 14, polar vortex, minus 14 without wind chill, and then chance of getting minus 50. Well, stay warm, D'Lo Fiasco, and thank you for being here. Wait, is it D'Lo Fiasco or is it D'Lo-Fi Asco? Which doesn't make sense to me, but I want to, or should I just call you didn't I used to call you D'Lo actually, now that I think about it? Remind me. I want to call you the right thing. JT Miller cross-check. He gets 2 weeks. Not all Canucks fans are mature. Hey, I resent that. I'm just kidding. Miller might have done the same thing, but I doubt Petey would cross-check someone in the face. Would I be scared to go to Rogers Place as a fan of the Canucks with how mad the fans are? Would I be scared? Probably not scared, but Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Because I've only watched the Canucks in a different arena in Seattle and Vegas. I have not done it in Calgary, Edmonton, or any of the Canadian cities yet. And the temperature is very warm right now. I have not watched Raw yet, so don't spoil anything, Tyler, but thank you. If it happened to a Canuck, it would be a vicious, dirty play. McDavid got away with a high stick and trip on Hughes. Years ago, it was just 2 rounds, but when they added teams, it got to 4 rounds. Gotcha, thank you. Intentional penalty? Yeah, that's why it's 2 in the ball, right? 2 in the ball. I remember the 2-line pass, and they took it away because, it was inadvertently chopping off some good offensive plays. Oh, good, Sarah. I'm glad I taught you. That's awesome. Can't wait to drop Edmonton's grease to get the W with ease. Nice. Myers should fight McDavid. Yeah, when they're both. Oh, you mean in the locker room? Well, there's a saw. Bouchard versus Garland for equal justice. Yeah, I don't like our chances there. Hack a Shaq or Hack a McDavid. He was at my workplace downtown Applestor doing an interview with Kayla Gray for TSN. They talked about the artwork on his goalie helmet, which was designed on an iPad. That's right. Took a pic with him. Awesome, Victor. Glad you met him. Are you on an unofficial Canuck fan forum? Anyone that talks smack about Garley needs to give their head a shake. By far, he's been one of our best players. He did his job and got the best player suspended. Hey, DJ Bick, no, I am not on any fan forums. No time, no desire. I do fight someone is going to fight. I do think someone is going to fight Garland. You're probably saying Miller should fight McDavid. Luis Suarez, handball penalty vibes. What does that mean? I don't even know what that means. If any of the next 3 Canucks teams go into overtime, will they do better since Myers won't be there? Yeah, but I think it's more the fact that Hronek's back as opposed to Myers being suspended. Sabrina Carpenter, a famous singer. NHL safety department probably saw all the Edmonton media talking about McDavid taking matters in their own hands, so they're shutting it down. Interesting. You can call me D-Lo. I used to be a huge fan of Lupe Fiasco since the Fiasco. Okay. So it is D-Lo Fiasco, not D-Lo Fiasco. Guess he found the only girl shorter than him. Very good. Oilers fans are more upset than the Oilers players. Exactly. I think the Oilers players deep down, they know it's part of the game. How come Shannon, the hockey guy, doesn't comment? I don't think you mean in my streams because he's not here. Do you mean overall why he hasn't done a video? I don't know. I don't know what Shannon... I don't know what you're talking about, actually, Dan. David has been dirty for years. He got caught. I'd go to Rogers Place. I would be obnoxious and root my team loud and proud. You see the Toronto fans that got punched in the head in Philly? Oh, they're not dating. Jay, not everyone. Most people know this. After the Canucks, it's Winnipeg, Tampa, and Colorado. Would I sing the anthem in a Canucks road game wearing the other team's jersey if they paid for your trip and gave tickets? Yeah, but I would never, they'd never let me on the ice after they heard me sing in warm up or sound check. But yeah, I'd do that. If the playoffs start today, the Canucks wouldn't make it. And I like the Canucks' chances. Like, I'm not guaranteeing a win, but I do like their chances in a 7-game series against Edmonton more than admittedly against LA or Vegas. You know, it'd be great if we had Torts again, so he'd send a goon line out. Yeah, that was the 11-year anniversary of that just a couple of days ago. McDavid is dirty, got caught finally, can no longer elbow going through the neutral zone. Kings might have a chance. I want to go to another Canucks game, but damn, ticket price is ridiculous. I had the fortune of going to the Kings game. Yeah, I was at there too. Kyle, send me an email, canuckclay@gmail.com. I can, if you want to go tomorrow, I can hook you up for cheap, like my cost. Kyle, send me an email, canuckclay@gmail.com. Any one of you can send me an email to canuckclay@gmail.com. If you're interested in tickets for tomorrow, I will sell them very cheap to any of you guys from the CCC community. While Oilers fans complain about cross-checking, wouldn't happen if refs called holding. Oilers would be scrambling for a goal. Skinner didn't land 3 in a row. Yeah, I agree with all those things. Leafs games, when they get here, yeah, it's considered the hottest ticket, and it depends, right? Upper bowl will cost you about $250 to $300 per ticket. Lower below $500, $600 just to start per ticket. Vancouver and Edmonton played a 7-game series right now. I'd love to say Vancouver in 7, but I would say Edmonton in 6 or 7. I just think they're too powerful. But I think we'd give them another good run. No, they'll never go down, Sarah. They will never go down. They will only stay the same or go up. But I will say this. As much as people were complaining about the 25% hike this year, that was the first time that they substantially raised prices in a good 6 or 7 years, pre-COVID for sure, because they couldn't justify raising the prices when the team was so bad. But guess what? As soon as the team tastes a bit of playoff success, surprise, surprise, ticket prices go up. Hey, Chelsea, nice to see you. I love you too. Thank you for being here. I love you. I love your dad in a very platonic way. Both of you, that is, not just because your dad's a guy. You know what I mean, Chelsea. But I'm glad that you are here. I hope to see you at more games. You are my new Instagram buddy. Thanks for being here, Chelsea. Yeah, come back, D'Lo, and slap them around. Not you slap them around. Watch them slap around. Who are the most annoying visiting fans in Rogers Arena? Anyone cheering for the other team. But all the original 6 teams have a lot of fans there. Boston, New York, Montreal, Toronto, Chicago, all those. Then Edmonton certainly has some fans in there. Not so much Seattle, Calgary. I think the loudest ones are the Toronto fans, the Montreal fans. You could hear it on the TV. There's some Edmonton fans there. Yeah, those are among the 3. I've been to a game in Nashville, and they will razz you all night, but then give you gifts, want to take pics with you. Fun atmosphere, not threatening but loud. That sounds fun. Better than getting punched in the face. Yeah, actually, the Canucks aren't afraid to play them tough. Leafs versus Canucks coming up in February. I have tickets. Did you hear that JT and a couple of the players went out for a final dinner on Friday thinking he wasn't going to play the Canucks anymore? I did not hear this, Irfan. Where did you hear this? I want to go look it up. That is interesting. Finn pulled out a leaf blower against the Leafs. What should Finn pull out against the Sabres? Well, I don't think it looks good if he skewers a buffalo. So, I don't know, eat some buffalo wings. Do I miss the old playoff format? Sometimes I do, but I can't just be biased just depending on who the Canucks end up playing against. I see why they're doing it this way. They're doing it the old division style. Remember when they had the 4 divisions, 16 teams, 16 out of 21 make the playoffs. And the way they do it now, it's supposed to build up divisional rivalries. Yeah, I do miss Marie as well. Marie is not, just like I'm on timeout for the Canucks. I wouldn't say Marie's on timeout, but she has not been asked. She didn't even get asked to do tomorrow night's Lunar New Year game, which to me is a major, major miss by the Canucks. But hey, and I don't know the Elizabeth Irving. I don't know her well, but I think she's very talented. She's Jacob age. She went to a Catholic high school. So I think she's great. I've seen her grow up. The new girl keeps doing that thing at the end. Well, the only thing I know is she says, "Then I God for thee," and then she does her little wave. Is that what you're talking about, Jed? Or are you talking about something vocally that she does? Next game I'm attending live is Sunday, February the 2nd against Detroit. I hope they're healthy because if Besser was there for Game 7, yes, we were missing Besser and Demko. Hey, Cindy, thank you. When do you think they'll make their decision on Besser? Is it an extension or trade? I definitely do not think it's an extension. I definitely think it's a trade, or they keep him for a playoff run and let him walk. I don't think they're afraid to do that. They did that with Lindholm and Zadorov last year. Different situation. I get it. I think the Four Nations face-off gives them another 2 weeks to make a decision. So I don't think they make a decision until the trade deadline in March. Jed says Elizabeth Irving is equally as good as singer as Marie. Yeah, they're both outstanding. I'm biased towards Marie, obviously, because long-term friendship with her. But Elizabeth Irving is great. CanuckClay@gmail.com, Kyle. CanuckClay@gmail.com. Knowing we're the only team who play Oilers tough seems somewhat relieving. No, at least our team does something good. Yeah. Hey, SJ, I'm doing well. Thank you. I prefer them to reseed after each round. Yes, the reseeding is fascinating. It seems to it rewards the higher finishing team, but it's a pain in the butt for hockey pools, that's for sure. I don't know. And Coach Rob, I have not heard this officially, so I don't want to get myself into any more trouble, but I haven't really done much with them in the past 2 years. I'll put it that way. Yeah, it's not my preference, but I don't think they're extending him. And do you want him if you're actually trying to make the playoffs? So it's the conundrum you're put in with any UFA that you're not going to re-sign. I thought Jagpreet has sung already at least once this year, but maybe I'm wrong. Do you think Besser would give Canucks a hometown discount? I don't. Maybe a little bit, but not much. I think he might have argued he's done that for a couple of contracts now. Jason says it's JT Miller's last game for the Canucks tomorrow. Florida plays Edmonton tough. Hot Take Hockey was the one who reported the dinner. Interesting. Four Nations, I'm excited. I think the U.S. is going to win. Hey, Kevin, will you come down to see any Canucks vs. Kraken games? I know the next one's on March 1st, but I believe that's the night that I'm hosting a birthday party for my lovely wife Gail's 50th birthday. So I know that's the next one. I was looking forward to connecting with you, but I don't think it's going to happen this season. But thanks for being on the stream. No, all good. All good. All the singers that the Canucks have are great. And we're also allowed to have our favorites for sure. Viper, I've explained this on a couple of streams, including as recently as last week. So I won't go into it today, but maybe I'll revisit the story another time. Basically, they didn't like an interview that I did with one of the news outlets when the Canucks were a tire fire. Jason, very loyal to me. Canucks PR team is weak. I wouldn't say that. He was so good in the playoffs, though. He was, Besser. I really like your customized mic with emo and the black skates Canucks. Yeah, thank you. So the mic itself is just Shure, but this is a nameplate that the Canucks gave me when I wasn't on timeout with them, and it was for some focus group work that I did with them. I've shared that before. It had to do with the relaunch of the new flying skate, but I can tell that story another time for sure. Miss Marie singing by Elizabeth is good. Agreed and agreed. Clay only brings positivity. Thank you, Jay. I tried. No, Hot Take isn't here, but he's the one who reported about the Miller dinner. If the core is gone, will Quinn want to stay? That's a great question. I have the sense that as appealing as going to play with his brothers in New Jersey, I'm sure that the Canucks will make him an offer he can't refuse for sure. Okay, friends, I am going to wrap up here. We've gone for over an hour, including the pee break halfway through. So thank you, not just for sticking with me through that break, but for being with me tonight. Another big show. Really appreciate all you guys sticking with me and building this community into what it is. So thank you, moderators, for keeping this a safe and respectful place. Thank you to my members, legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Andrew Chang, Hall of Fame and franchise members. Thanks for your support, and thanks to all of you for watching, liking, and subscribing. I want to thank my primary sponsor, Jason Lim of Van City Experts Real Estate, my secondary sponsor, Coach Patrick Liu, Weight Loss Coach. Thank you for your support. And thanks to those of you who went above and beyond tonight, and our donations came in the way of membership gifts. Adam Lee gives some membership, and Coach Rob gives some membership. Admittedly, these happened in the first 2 minutes of the stream. I got excited. I thought it was going to be one of those, and we ain't done, but it's okay. It's okay. I am more grateful for the community we are building and for the wonderful insight and feedback that all of you guys brought. Going to end this poll right now. I forgot about it, but I can see that 72% of you would rather see a boring, low-scoring win over 27% of you saying you'd rather see an exciting, high-scoring loss. And that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, it was midnight. Time flies when you are having fun. Canuck Clay on timeout from Canucks is bad juju for this team. That's why we are struggling. I will end it there, but I won't leave it on the screen because I will get in trouble. But thank you, Pastor Dan. I appreciate you always looking out for me. My next show is tomorrow night, but it's with Parker. And it's Canucks After Dark at 10 p.m., so make sure you're around for that. And then I'm back here, CCC, on Wednesday night at 11 p.m. Until then, as always, stay safe. Oh, before that, don't forget to rate my bad joke out of 10 on your way out of the stream. Now, for real, stay safe. Stay healthy. Before I do that, if you're interested in Canucks tickets for tomorrow night, email me, canuckclay@gmail.com. Now, for real, stay safe. Stay healthy. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. By the way, what do you call a girl standing in the middle of a tennis court? What do you call a girl standing in the middle of a tennis court? Annette. Annette. And I caught this one before I have to go. I want to give thank you. Last time I already pressed the buy button before someone left a late donation. So thank you very much to Shannon, Hall of Fame member Shannon Hollingworth, for the late donation. Let's give her some love in the chat. And Shannon, thank you, says, go Canucks go, from Charlie, me, and Coach Rob. So thanks to Shannon from Cat Charlie and Coach Rob. Thank you for the donation, the late donation. But let's give Shannon some love in the chat. And let's do this. Anytime I get a late donation, I will do an extra bad dad joke. So stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. Why did the nose feel so sad? Why? Because it was always getting picked on. Always getting picked on. Yes. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Take care of yourselves. And take care of each other. God bless. And go Canucks go. But we ain't done. No, we ain't done. I have a feeling this could go for a while. Thank you to Swervin Irvin with a $3 donation. And just shameless, just flat out says another joke. So let's give Swervin Irvin, I can't even talk now. Let's give Swervin Irvin some love in the chat. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. What did the mama cow say to the baby cow? It's pasture bedtime. Pasture bedtime. God bless. And go Canucks go. Booyah. I didn't press the end stream button because I saw Dilo Fiasco come in with a $2 donation. You guys, I can do this all night. I don't know about you. So that didn't sound right. So let's give Dilo Fiasco all the way from Toronto, 3:10 in the morning there. Let's give him some love. So Dilo Fiasco extends the stream by another minute, says one more joke. So you guys aren't even bothered with Canucks comments anymore. You just want these bad jokes, or you know, I think you just being generous, and as a result, you are stuck with another bad joke. So you guys know the routine now. You guys know you have about 15 seconds from now. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Where did the cat go after losing his tail? Where did the cat go after losing its tail? He went to the retail store. The retail store. God bless. And go Canucks go. Booyah. Oh no, we ain't done. Even though we played the intro 4 times now, the outro. Jed Lawson says, 1 a.m. here, but I want another joke. Coach Rob also comes in at the same time. So I'm going to treat this as 2 for 1, not because I want to leave, but you guys got to space these out better. So Jed Lawson with the $3 and Coach Rob with the $2. I'm going to give you guys some love first with the goal horn. So thanks to both of you for extending the stream by yet another minute or so. So as always, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. How do you organize a party in space. You plan it. You plan it. God bless. And go Canucks go. Booyah.